So recently one of my students asked me the question, how do you get this super immersive, multi-dimensional sound where it feels like you're swimming in the sound and sound is coming from everywhere? And so in this video I'm going to go through all the little tips and tricks that you can use to achieve exactly that kind of sound. So first of all, we need to understand what we are doing here with the music. What we are trying to do here is to create the illusion of space. So we are trying to trick our brain to think that we are in a room. To create this immersiveness, this immersive psychedelic sound, we need to have every element in our track clearly separated from each other. So it's easier for our brain to immerse itself in the music. The clearly we separate each of our elements, the easier it gets for our brain to get tricked into this illusion of space. And separating our sounds already starts in the sound design and the arrangement phase of production. Now, how does this all look in practice? So we have this. Now I want to add another element to that. So I copied the same sequence into the same thing with Serum. So now I have the both of them sitting on top of each other. Now obviously you cannot hear both of them clearly. It's kind of merging into one weird thing. And so what we want is to separate them from each other. So let's change the octave of one of these sequences. So let's put one of these sequences one octave down. Okay, we are slightly going somewhere. Now let's choose the amount of notes. So what if I turn these notes here into a chord? Boom. Now let's look at the sound design part of separation. I want my chords to be further back and the arp more in the front. So I can go ahead and reduce the volume of our chords. So now we can hear a bit more separation going on, right? We have the chords that have fallen into the back, and now we have our arp or multiple notes more in the front. So there's already a little bit of separation going on. What we also can do already here in the sound design is, for example, using a filter. Let's use the filter on the chords. So you can hear that if I close the filter a bit more, we get even more separation. And you know what? I'm going to increase the octave of this sequence. And I'm going to change this note because it's not very nice. Also, still in the sound design, we can tweak the envelope of the first sound. Did you notice how much more separated these two elements sound just by changing the envelope? So if I increase the sustain back up again, the notes of my arpeggio here are masking the elongated notes of my chords. If I bring the sustain of this arpeggio back down again, it leaves the space for our chords to breathe and to be noticeable again. So we changed the octaves of the notes, we changed the amount of notes that we're using, we changed the envelope of our different sounds, we used filtering to filter out some of the frequencies, we also reduced the volume, and so now we kind of touched on all the points without using any effects. Now we can try and start using effects to separate these two elements. So let's say the chords, I want them to be in the far back. So let's use a big reverb on this one. Now the separation, it's much clearer, it's much stronger. We can clearly hear both of these elements now. And to increase that, I'm going to give a small reverb on the first sound. Let's use this one. And let's combine that with a short delay. Now our brain has the information it needs to locate that element in a specific area in the room. That's it for this video. I hope you could understand what I meant. Of course, if you want to see more videos like this, just go ahead and subscribe, like the video, give me a comment on the video. And if you're serious about music production, you want to get closer to the professional sound, and you want to be a faster producer, you can apply by filling out the form down below. You can also go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I am much more active on there. Otherwise, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.